Everybody said, your job over here is to remind me to hit record. Now, on Friday, I teach from Enid. Okay? So you guys have your option of coming into this room, having it broadcast through here, or joining via Zoom. I will be taking attendance, and I take attendance a variety of different ways, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. On the Enid campus, I teach over there in Enid on Fridays. So I'll actually physically be over there. So everybody gets to see me 50% of the time, which works out really nice. And this semester, usually I'm only on Enid campus 1 day a week. Well, this semester I'm on Enid campus 2 days a week because I start with a 7:30 lab tomorrow on the Enid campus, and I have 3 labs. And then I'm back here on the Tonkawa campus. So I'm on the Enid campus Thursdays and Fridays. I'm on the Tonkawa campus Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Those of you who don't know where my office is over here, I'm across from the chemistry lab. Look for the cardboard furniture, and you know where you can find me. And I will do office hours both via Zoom and via in person. My office over in Enid is going to be the physics lab. I'm going to run it out of the physics lab. That gives us more room over there anyway, and it just saves me from running back and forth across the hall. So I will be, and nobody else uses that room, so that works out really well for us. But I will have the capability of doing Zoom. All right, Enid folks, I need loud hears from you guys, and I need to know if you're in the class. So we're going to do the, if you're online, it should pop up that you're online. Aiken?
Here.
Anderson?
Here.
Butler?
Here.
Got Claudefelter?
Here.
Okay. And I saw Emily, she's online. Martin?
Here.
Okay, and you're online. McDonald?
Here.
Is that Melindy? Corey?
Here.
Dana Miller?
Here.
Okay. Ashley Brito?
Here.
Are you in class or are you online?
Online.
Okay. There you are. Okay. Real?
Here.
Sanchez White?
Here.
Tamara Santos?
Here.
Yeah, you're online. Jacob? Not sure how to say that last name.
Here.
Okay, and you're online, got it. Miranda Shook?
Here.
Alejandra Smith?
Here.
Thomas Stanley?
Here, but I prefer to do my TJ.
TJ, gotcha. Thank you. Ambry Thomas?
Here.
I've got Thompson. How do you want me to
Here.
say? Is that TJ or Taji?
Tajay.
Tajay. I think I've talked to you on the phone. Christian Williams?
Here.
Jordan Williams?
Here.
Paul Williams?
Here.
And Peyton Wingo.
Here.
Okay. And then I should have a Caleb Hopcott. Jasmine, what's that?
Here.
Okay, you're there. All right. And then I saw Samina a minute ago. So you can tell we got a pretty good sized class. We got a fairly large class, and that's actually good because that means you can find study buddies. And if you guys want me to set up a Zoom breakout room or a Facebook chat room or something like that, holler at me, because the best way to get through physics is with a study buddy. We do have tutoring, okay? At least on this campus, we've got tutoring. And for those of you over on the Enid campus, Dr. Monroe is another person that you can go to over on the Enid campus that can help you with general physics. So myself and Dr. Monroe are there. Over here, Josh Fairbanks is going to be the tutor that can help tutor for General Physics 1. So Josh is around. And there's always tutor.com. And I will try and provide you with a lot of different resources that are there. I will tell you up front that I'm usually pretty good, at least in General Physics 1, to be able to give you a variety of different examples that will help you understand a particular concept. There is a concept later on in the middle of the semester when we deal with momentum. And having dealt with the medical types, you guys actually think a little differently than the engineering types. And when we get to momentum, it's kind of like when you went into college algebra and we did the square root of minus 1 is I. You have to kind of accept it and go on. Well, for you guys, when you get to momentum, please accept it and go on. Because it's one of those that seems to cause this population a little bit more of a consternation than other populations. And it's the one topic that I don't get why you don't get it. It's like going into a room and saying the wall is white, and we all know it's white. You know, that's just the way it is. It's what we call it. We all know it. There's not a whole lot of other ways to explain why the wall is white. Well, when it gets to momentum, that's the boat I'm in. And I will tell you that I will get frustrated. I am not frustrated at you, I'm frustrated at myself because I have yet to figure out another way to try and explain it to help you guys. So I just will give you that heads up right away. So there are many times that when I sound frustrated, I am not frustrated with you guys. I will tell you when I'm frustrated with you guys. I will be pretty clear about that, but most of the time I'm frustrated with something that's on my end, and I just want to give you that right away that's out there. So I'm going to give you a navigation of Blackboard, and I'm going to show you what I expect, and I'm going to show you how I've laid this out. Under the course Welcome and Navigation is that survey. If you have not done the survey, please do, because I want to make sure those of you who are attending distance the entire time has the appropriate equipment. I also, from a social distancing issue, want to know if you're planning on attending the lecture primarily through Zoom, and that will also help me out as well, that we can do it. Normally, I will also try to log in on a Zoom on my computer so that you guys can use the chat feature. Those of you who are attending via Zoom. And I do not care if you have your cell phone up and you want to log in even if you're physically in the same room with me, so we can use the chat feature. That does help because I tend to move fast and sometimes I can't get, and especially like today when I have a black screen for Enid, I can't really tell if somebody's trying to get my attention. The chat feature does work pretty well, so I will do that. The other thing about the chat feature, if you guys don't know it yet, you can always save your chats. Okay? Always save your chats. This is how you're going to access your Pivot Interactives. I've got a video for that and the class key. I've already posted all the Pivot Interactives that are more laboratory-like for you guys, so if you wanted to get started on those and get ahead of the game, more power to you. Thank you. I am a masked Nazi. I kind of have to preach and walk the walk and talk the talk. Not just because we've made it a policy here, but I have done 3 webinars, national webinars about why the mask is effective over the course of the summer. And so I would encourage you all to watch that video to understand why I am going to preach about keeping it up over your nose and wearing it properly. Because you all are most of you are medical types, right? Most of you are pre-med, heading into some sort of medical profession. I got some HPER folks, I got some other folks in here. So the idea of public health is important. If you go to the Center for Disease Control, they have planning numbers for this lovely thing that we're experiencing. I will tell you why people have, first of all, a mental image of why we don't need to worry about this. The last time people in the United States had to be quarantined, that they didn't go to some weird place in Africa and get Ebola or that lovely flesh-eating bacteria. They didn't get that. Was the last time that people had to be quarantined was when I was a very little kid. And that's because I lived in the Intermountain West, and we were still quarantined communities over measles. How many in here, raise your hand, holler out, knows anybody who's actually had measles? Mumps, rubella, whooping cough. Those were all things that we used to quarantine communities for. My mother remembers going into quarantine because they had a case of polio in the elementary school. So you're talking, it's been since the 1950s that there was a common time where somebody had to go into quarantine for something. So you're talking 70 years since we last had to do quarantines, which is one of the reasons why people are having an issue with this. Because used to, you did it all the time. And if you guys do any literature studies, you will find out that Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein. They were in a group because they were being quarantined. That's why they were at the castle that they were at. Then Byron goes out and does what he does, and that's how that whole story goes. But so we don't have a culture of understanding quarantine. We don't have a culture of understanding epidemics. We don't have that culture. And that's one of the things that we've got to kind of look at and understand what's going on, and then we're watching science in real time, which is actually kind of interesting. Because we didn't know anything about this, and we still are learning about this as we go. So that's one of the things that we want to look at. But the CDC has planning numbers. The best guess right now by the CDC for planning purposes, for public health purposes, is that 40% of the people that get this are going to be totally asymptomatic, will never know that they've had it. Won't even get a sore throat. Won't even get the sniffles. Won't get anything. 40% of the population is going to have that reaction to it. Of that 40%, 75% of those people are going to be infectious, meaning that they can give it to somebody else. And you are, even if you do get symptoms, you're infectious for 2 days before you get symptoms, and therefore you can spread it to somebody else. So this is a really interesting little bug. It's a virus, it's not a bug. The biology people will tell me that. I'm not a biologist. But that's why it's really important that we do the things that we do trying to minimize the spread. And just be aware that I will be a Nazi about it, because I've had to be. And does anybody know anybody who's had it? Okay, you guys are pretty, they actually, it's interesting, today on a nationwide survey they were saying about 60%. Does anybody know anybody that's had to go to the hospital with it? Does anybody know anybody who's died? I've lost 4 friends. A friend of mine also lost her mother. So but yes, we can do the same thing with the flu. Yes, we can do the same thing with pneumonia. Yes, there's a whole lot of other stuff about it, but we're trying to do the best public health practices we can. So if you're sick, don't feel good, please don't come to class, join via Zoom. Okay? Join via Zoom. So that's under the course Welcome and Navigation. The syllabus is here. Big news in the syllabus, 2 big key things besides the schedule and all of that good stuff, is you want to know the grading scale. All right, so number 1, nobody panic if you're not getting a 90, you still may have an A, because my grading scale is an 87.5 to a 9 or to 100 is an A, and then it goes down from there. I have had several people drop the class because they think they're doing horribly, and they're dropping the class with a B with the opportunity to get an A. So if you're thinking about dropping the class, please, because you think you're having a bad grade, please contact me first. Because you guys are all lined up in that 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 90 is a B, and that is not my grading scale. There is an opportunity for extra credit. In WebAssign, I have a 8-hour extra credit that's added in. If you get your homework done 48 hours in advance, there's extra credit available. So in WebAssign, it's already built in. I'll go ahead and open it up. Okay, never think about it again. There are going to be 4 exams, and you'll notice that I have 2 oral components. That means when we go to online at the end of the semester, I don't have to proctor. So you'll be able to not have to have a proctored exam.